I'm Matt from Wrestling Unlimited, here to review the March 2016 version of WWE Roadblock. Roadblock 2016, well, excuse me, since the WWE has decided to somehow, go against the grain even more and give us two Roadblock events this year, the March 2016 version of Roadblock was something that kind of went against the grain with what WWE usually does. Roadblock was not a pay-per-view. It was more of an event to bridge the gap between Fastlane, where you started to set up potential WrestleMania matches, and WrestleMania itself. That can potentially be a good thing. Some other good things about this show: one, the overall look and feel of the show. Reminds me of the old school WWE days where you pretty much just had a wrestling ring and a small stage and some lighting just for the ring. It had a unique look, a unique feel, something a little bit different. Again, that could be a good thing. Another good thing about this is the fact that you tried your hardest to make this show seem like a big deal. You put an NXT Tag Team Championship match on the show, which again is a good utilization of the NXT talent. What better way to get them ready for the big show than by putting them on the big show? Again, that could be a good thing. You also had a Tag Team Championship match. You also had a Divas Championship match. You had Brock Lesnar on the card. You had a World Heavyweight Championship match. Again, all of those factors could make that a good thing, and it could make this show work, and it could make this show a good show. Those are the positives. Some of the negatives, well, there's a lot of them. First of all, this show, a lot of people thought, was pretty much just going to be a glorified house show that just happened to be shown on the WWE Network. And I'm sorry to say, that's exactly what this show felt like coming out of it. This show felt like just one big house show that just happened to be televised. There were a lot of randomly thrown together matches. You really did not do anything to emphasize WrestleMania or the storylines leading into WrestleMania. You had some questionable booking. You had poor utilization of your bigger stars, such as Brock Lesnar and Bray Wyatt. Again, this show was meant to bridge the gap and continue to prepare you, continue to build towards the big show WrestleMania 32. And unfortunately, this did not do that. It didn't even come close. The only feud that it really built up was the feud between the New Day and the League of Nations. That was pretty much it. And you didn't really do much else. In fact, speaking of the New Day and the League of Nations, they kicked off the show in the WWE Tag Team Championship match. And yes, this was fun, and this was entertaining, but I didn't care. And especially when they faced off at WrestleMania, I didn't care. And I found it fitting that they went over here, because of course, they weren't going to go over on the big show. So they're obviously going to go over on this house show turned into a network special. Great job, WWE. Then you have Chris Jericho defeating Jack Swagger by submission. Up until March of 2016, I thought that Jack Swagger was unemployed. And here he is wrestling Chris Jericho on this show. Chris Jericho, mind you, that has a big money match at WrestleMania. You would think you'd want to build to that, right? Why was this match taking place? I don't know what else you want me to say about that. The match of the night, arguably, even though it was kind of short, the Revival defeating Enzo and Cass for the NXT Tag Team Championship. Again, good utilization of the NXT talent, especially a good utilization of the NXT tag teams, because Lord only knows, and everyone here knows, that the main roster tag team division is very, very lackluster. So any sort of freshness to this tag team division can be beneficial, will be beneficial. So please, do it. Just bring up all of those NXT tag teams, because right now, the main roster needs your help. Again, good match, even though it was kind of short. Kind of was what it was. Then you had Charlotte defending the Divas Championship against Natalya in a feud that I really didn't care about. And unfortunately, Charlotte, who is a great athlete, and you've seen that, I'm sorry, but she just cannot work a big match unless she has the proper dance partners. And when it comes to people like Sasha Banks and people like Becky Lynch, those are the dance partners. Charlotte and Natalya never had good chemistry to me. In this case, Charlotte went over whippity-skip. Again, you did not do anything to build up to the big triple threat match that was going to happen at WrestleMania 32. You pretty much wasted Natalya here for no reason. The only reason why you put her on the show is because the show just happened to be in Canada. That's pretty much it. Speaking of colossal wastes of time, Brock Lesnar defeating the Wyatt family of Bray Wyatt and Luke Harper. Bray Wyatt, mind you, who didn't even compete in the match. You, again, wasted the Wyatt family on yet another match against another name in another event, or on another event. Again, I don't know how anybody can take the Wyatt family seriously if all they do is lose. And in this case, lose badly in 4 minutes and 3 seconds to Brock Lesnar. Again, doing nothing to emphasize Brock versus Ambrose, and doing nothing to even get you to think that, ooh, maybe the Wyatts are actually going to appear at WrestleMania. Maybe they're not going to appear at WrestleMania. Waste of time. Then you get Sami Zayn versus Stardust. I guess you can look at this match as kind of a Sami Zayn showcase, which is always a positive. You know, building the next couple of good stars. Why not? Appropriate dance partner with Stardust, or if you hate the Stardust character as much as I do, an appropriate dance partner in Cody Rhodes. Kind of worked. This match was what it was, but again, what did it really build to? What was the point? The purpose of this whole show, what was it? Other than put 10,000 people in an arena. If people are going to a show that has no purpose, why go to the show to begin with? Speaking of colossal waste of time, this World Heavyweight Championship match. Like I said earlier, you want to make the show feel like a big deal, that's fine. Putting this World Heavyweight Championship match on the card is not a bad move. The match itself, again, unless you were going to have Ambrose go over, what was the point? And you didn't even have Roman on the show. You didn't even have Brock get involved in this match to cost Ambrose, or you didn't have Ambrose earlier in the night in that match to cost Brock. You again did nothing to emphasize the feuds going into WrestleMania. This show was perfectly placed for you to do that. And you didn't. And again, I look from top to bottom, from first match, that tag title match, to last match, the world title match. And I asked the question yet again, what was the point?